Hello, Elk Grove students, families, and staff. I'm Santhi Pinkerton.
And I'm Sandeep Dosanjh, and welcome to another episode of EGU News. All right, we're going to change today's episode around. Instead of reading the letter that is going out to parents, we're going to walk you through the contents and then provide you with a few updates.
Thank you, Sandeep. So, in today's letter to parents, there's 8 sections, but today on EGU News, we want to focus on what parents need to know to be prepared for distance learning at home. So we have some tips to offer for that planning and preparation, and we hope it can provide some insight in a few areas that people have been asking us about.
So let's get started. First of all, let's remember that Elk Grove Unified's distance learning is only 7 days away for middle school and high school students and 11 days for elementary school students.
Yes, and we want to help parents prepare for the distance learning at home. We're starting with just 5 tips. So the first one is that we're going to focus on, or the first one is set up a comfortable and quiet learning space. Then number 2, establish a predictable weekly routine. This can help students by creating a sense of normalcy and consistency and something to look forward to. And then 3, communicate often and make sure students are emailing their teacher or reaching out to their teacher during office hours. And parents can also be involved in the communication. And then 4, make sure students and parents are familiar with the devices and online platforms that students will be using. And then the last 5th one is encourage healthy habits, like eating and physical activity every day, mindfulness, and especially screen breaks.
Okay, so let's just focus on the first 2 right now.
Okay.
And number 1 is something that I helped my nephew with. Parents should identify dedicated spaces like a desk, kitchen table, or a comfortable sofa, depending on your home. Then prepare the area with the learning tools the student will need, such as a Chromebook, a pen, pencils, paper, and a light that they could, illuminate the area that they need. And the Chromebook and community and family resource page for frequently asked questions are answered, and that is a resource for everyone involved related to the Chromebooks. Lastly, make sure that there's minimal distraction in the area during study time.
Precisely, and that link to, you mentioned the EGUSD Family and Community Resources page, that one where the FAQs are, there's a link in the letter for that, so parents can just click on the link and they'll get there. Okay, so Sandeep, now for tip number 2, set a daily routine that makes sense for the whole family, in addition to waking up at the same time, getting dressed, eating meals regularly. In today's letter, one of the things that we worked on was to describe by grade level what parents should expect with regard to allocating study and student work time.
I bet you know that I work well with the schedule, and I'm sure that this will be very helpful for families as they start the rollout of distance learning in their home. So can you quickly break down what a possible schedule may look like?
Sure. So there's really 3 areas that I'm going to go over, and those are for the preschool TKK or TK transitional kindergarten. And then the other one will be grades 1st through 6th, and then lastly grades 7th through 12th. So let's start with the preschool TKK group. Next week, schools are going to begin distributing their distance learning instructional packets, or their learning packets. It's going to be a drive-through kind of a process at their school sites, and parents and guardians should check their emails or voicemails to make sure that they received information from their school about that distribution process. Teachers will be in contact with parents as well to provide instructions then once they receive those packets on how to complete them and what parents could expect. And here's the time factor. For a preschool, transitional kindergarten, or kindergarten student, teachers are going to assign about 1.5 hours of distance learning per day, okay? So now for the 1st through 6th grade, an elementary student will focus on about 5 different subject areas throughout the whole week. And parents should expect for their 1st and 6th grade teachers to assign about 2.5 hours of distance learning per day, including 30 minutes of physical activity. Then for the 7th through 12th grade students, which is a middle or high school student, they'll be following their course schedule. And the general guidance in this area would be for students to expect between 30 to 60 minutes of instruction and student work for classes per day, or a total of 15 to 18 hours of distance learning per week. And then teachers may assign work daily or weekly depending on the course. So there's a chart in the letter that shows what the expectations are depending on the secondary student schedule. You know, we have some schools that are on a 4x4, some that are on an AB block, and then others that are on a traditional schedule. So parents can look at that chart and get a better sense of how to gauge their time and where to allocate a schedule.
Thank you, Zanthi. That's a lot of great information. And next week, we will send more communication to parents for distance learning tips, number 3, 4, and 5. So stay tuned for that.
Awesome. All right, now let's move on to Chromebooks.
So Chromebook checkout continued today, and to date, 24,300 devices, or 37% of 65,000 students have checked out a Chromebook. Now, what if someone still needs to check out a Chromebook? Are they out of luck?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that. No, they're not out of luck.
Good.
Yes, in fact, next week, families and students may visit any of the following 3 high schools where we will be offering Chromebook checkout makeup days. And those days will be on Tuesday, April 14th, from 9 a.m. to 12 at all 3 locations, and also on Wednesday, April 15th, from 1 p.m. till 4 p.m. at those same 3 high schools. So here's those high schools. It's Monterey Trail High School, Laguna Creek High School, and Sheldon High School. And the same process as before. It's a drive-through service. You got to have the students in the car. And as you all know, you need to know the student or have written down the student ID number.
So this is very important information, Zanthi, because I've been getting some calls here into the communications department about people missing their date. So yes, you may pick up a Chromebook next week, but it's limited to just Monterey Trail High School, Laguna Creek High School, and Sheldon High School at specific times. So check out those times in the letter. So before we get to the county and state update, we need to know that district sites and district offices effective today are now closed to the public following the updates from the Sacramento County Public Health Order, and they will remain closed to the public until May 1st.
That's right, Sandeep. So does that mean there won't be anyone to call or email?
Well, I will answer that question. Rest assured that the communications department will respond to all emails and phone calls. And if we don't answer that phone, please leave a voicemail because we will respond back to it very quickly.
That's right. So all of the enrollment and like transcript kinds of things, those educational and business services will continue. But again, just want to reiterate what Sandeep said. Either use the phone and leave a voicemail or just email us. And on the district's website, one of the things in the letter is the link to our departments and divisions page where you can have all the information on how to contact different departments if you need to talk to somebody or if you need to just email somebody with a question. So
yes, and the communications department is very active responding to messages sent on Facebook. So don't hesitate to respond to us or send us messages on Facebook or to any of our school Facebook accounts. They are quick to respond back on Facebook too.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yes. And so that's it for now with regard to the letter. So please, we encourage parents, please read the letter. It's thorough. It has lots of links. There's reminders in there about other services and resources that we've provided. And so take a look at it and look forward to more communication moving forward as we get closer and closer to starting our distance learning. So let's go to the county and state update.
So for Sacramento County, as of today, April 9th at 12 p.m., the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in Sacramento County is now at 613. Mm-hmm. So let's break it down by age group. From 0 to 17, it's 5. In the 18 to 49-year-old age group, it's 249. 50 to 60-year-olds, 158, and 65 and over at 201. So 22 individuals died from complications of COVID-19, and they were either 65 and over or had underlying health conditions.
Yeah, thank you. That's unfortunate news. But earlier this week, the Sacramento County also issued a new or a revised public health order for all residents to continue to stay at home, and extended the terms of the order to increase social distancing and reducing person-to-person contact as a method to further slow transmission of COVID-19. So one of the things they want everybody to remember is that as we enter into this weekend, usually it's a holiday weekend for a lot of people, we all must remember to limit social gatherings and to continue to adhere to the county order of social distancing.
And another quick reminder, mobile testing site is available for the public. Make sure that you register for your appointment time online at projectbaseline.com. The COVID-19 testing location does not accept walk-ins if you don't have an appointment scheduled. Those not registered will not be tested, and medical care is not on site.
Right, thank you. Sandeep, could you run through the state numbers? I know that in Sacramento County, the numbers, we're growing, it's steadily growing, but I think that there's a little bit of positive in the state, just in what I was reading earlier of how many people have been tested so far.
Yeah, so testing-wise, we've had more than 177,000 that have been tested. So that's great news. I know the more people get tested, the more data that we have. There's a lot of different things that we're working with and finding out as we go day to day here. As of today, there are over 18,000 positive cases, though, with 492 deaths throughout the state. So, everyone keeps up with the social distancing, washing your hands for 20 seconds, and wearing masks. If you have them available, that would be great.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that. And thank you for reminding everybody about washing hands. That's still the #1 best method to, slowing the transmission. So appreciate that. Well, thank you, Sandeep. I think that's it for today's edition of EGU News. Make sure you subscribe to us at youtube.com/Elk Grove Unified. And I'm Santi Pinkerton.
And I'm Sandeep Dosanjh. We'll see you on the next episode.